Welcome back to Beyond the Lesson Plans, where relationships are greater than worksheets. Thinking about joining a homeschool co-op but not sure if it's the right fit? Today we're breaking down the pros and cons, exploring the different types of co-ops, and helping you decide if this popular homeschool option works for your family.
This is a fun topic. I really like this topic.
I do too, and I love our co-op.
I do love our co-op.
And so we need to do some things to kind of lay out a co-op. So when we start, you need to know that's one of the very common questions. So what is a co-op? And not all of them are the same. Mm-hmm. So what would you define a co-op as?
I would define a co-op as a cooperative. Like, people need to be cooperating for the greater good of the children who are being homeschooled.
So it's where everybody has a little skin in the game.
Everybody
does a little something to make it work.
Yes.
Mine would be a group of families that gather to enrich their homeschool journey.
Okay.
So it could look many different ways, but everybody pitches in a little bit and does a little bit. A co-op is usually ran by its members, and there are many different styles of co-ops. So why don't you tell us about what the different styles are?
So I'm the most familiar with the enrichment style of co-op, where the kids are coming together. They could be learning a core class, or they could be learning just some enrichment stuff, maybe painting, cooking. They could be learning how to sew, stuff like that. That's kind of how our co-op is. That's the one I'm most familiar with. And then I know that there's co-ops out there that are strictly core class co-ops.
Yes, a lot of academic co-ops. A lot of times I find the academic ones aren't necessarily a co-op, though.
Okay.
There are still some out there, but a lot of them are drop-in classes, and they're a little more costly than maybe a co-op. But we'll get to that. So the co-op that we're familiar with, we have been involved for, what did we figure out? I've been involved for probably 15 years, maybe more. Gosh, we're almost at like 2030, and I know Bobby graduated in 2017, so it's more than 15 years. But I would probably say maybe 20 then. Bobby was young when we started, but you joined us.
I had about 10 years.
You had about 10 years in the co-op?
So.
Yeah, I would say so. But our co-op was it's very traditional. Everybody pitches in. We're very much enrichment. But we also have lower cost because everyone pitches in. We're parent-led, parent-taught, volunteer-run. And usually we're less expensive. I would say most of our co-op attendees pay for a family less than $200 a semester, or right around $200 a semester. So some people are paying $400 a semester for a single class. In some of these other programs, but I think we try to keep it. We know most of our families are single income. We try to keep it as low as we possibly can. In a traditional co-op, drop-off is sometimes hard to find. But if it is allowed, if there's space for it, sometimes that's not encouraged because you're not getting that sense of community. The mom is not involved, so therefore she doesn't know kind of what's going on. I find the families that drop off tend to not do as many of the field trips. They don't feel as comfortable. They don't hang out and talk after co-op. They just pick up and go.
Yeah.
So if it definitely has a different focus when you're doing drop-off.
Yeah.
It might be necessary for your family. Maybe you're a single mom and you need those hours to work, or that's how it kind of all started.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like the majority of the people who've done drop-off, they started out, volunteering, teaching classes, and then something happened where they just needed to take a semester off for maybe family emergency or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
They just needed it temporarily.
Yeah, we had a family who had a baby this semester, but they wanted their older kids to be able to come. So
Yeah.
they did drop off for that reason. There's seasons of life. Maybe they had a death in the family or they have a sick parent or whatever. There's seasons in life that we allow drop off in our group. And we kind of take it case by case basis because we don't want it to become a babysitting service either.
Yeah.
And most programs don't allow drop off for those preschool and younger ages because we're not a daycare.
Yeah.
And liability insurance is a huge issue for those ages. So we don't allow it for those ages, but K through 12, we take it on a case by case basis and we look at how many parents we have, if we can run the program without them. And oftentimes we tell them, hey, if we have a week, we might need you to stay.
Yeah.
And so they need to have that flexibility as well. But our traditional co-op definitely has a huge focus on our community and building relationships amongst those community, building lifelong friendships. Our kids, some of them, they come back and teach.
Yeah.
They just stay in touch somehow. But it's also nice to follow their lives as they do go into adulthood and they do stay in touch, and that's nice.
Yeah.
How's ours structured?
So ours is structured where the parents come in. We're broken up into semesters, and then we come in X amount of times per semester, and we have 3 hours to learn together. We usually have a little devotional time where either a pastor, normally churches host us, the pastor of the church will come, or one of the parents will give a little devotional. We have some announcements, and then we dismiss for classes.
Yeah. And we have multiple class options per hour. So when we're planning out our semester, we kind of sit down and we take all the options that the parents have submitted and we arrange them so that sometimes we have 10, 11 options per hour to choose from.
Per hour, per age group.
Correct. Yeah. So we could have, it all gets weeded down because I don't think we could run that many classes per hour. We'd have to cut some. But we have rules on how we eliminate classes. And if it's not got enough interest, then we don't run it. But some classes, some parents end up teaching, some parents don't. But we highly encourage every parent to offer a class.
So let me ask you a quick question. So when I started the co-op, you had already been a member. When I started, it was basically the parents get to teach whatever they're passionate about. So if they have a hobby or they're really good at science or, they have a degree in biology and they want to do a dissection class, they could do whatever they wanted. Before I started, the co-op was strictly one. Were you guys doing like one curriculum, or was the coordinator picking out what you guys could teach and telling you?
Well, they attempted that.
Okay.
When I started, it was very much like it is now.
Okay.
Parents submitted the classes that they wanted to teach, and we ran with what was popular choice. And so, but then one year, the coordinator decided that we were all going to follow the 4-year plan, and we were going to start teaching. We were going to start at ancients, and then we were going to teach the ancient history. And so every class had to have some focus of that time frame. So maybe your science class would explore building pyramids or STEM type activities, and then your history would be learning about a certain civilization and geography and all those different subjects were going to come. Maybe you're going to write essays on ancient time period, all of that stuff. And
was it Tapestries of Grace that she was using?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And she wanted us to kind of build our curriculum around her age group, which kind of went over like a lead balloon because the whole point of our co-op was not academic. It was enrichment. And everybody was like, well, why do we got to choose yours? And why does this have to run this way? And we lost a good amount of families over that. And so I think she only did another year, maybe 2 or 3 more years because it just did not fly. And so then she kind of finished up with her kids and passed the baton. But she, at that point, I was like, as I took over, I was like, I'm not going to tell you what to teach. The whole focus of our group is enrichment and teaching what you love. So why would I tell you that?
Yeah.
One thing I do is if somebody needs a suggestion for something to teach, I'll, say, hey, we could use this or we could use that, or we've got 4 craft classes. Can you come up with something else, or I will try to direct maybe a topic, but not necessarily a curriculum or we're doing this. There's no heavy hand in our choices. But our co-op also meets bi-weekly. So it's basically 2, maybe 3 sessions a month.
Yeah.
And we meet 6 times in the fall and 8 times in the winter. And then we kind of take a break for the summer. But every year we do a teacher survey, and every year we're like, do you want to go weekly? And there's a minimum of families that want to end up going weekly. They like the option of not missing co-op and being able to go in between on a vacation. We are not super regulated with our attendance. If you miss 3 home teams, but you still want to attend, it's fine.
It just makes it a little bit difficult if you're a teacher.
Yes.
Trying to cover that.
Yes. And so we're a little more free. We don't give grades.
Yeah.
But we do tell parents, hey, if you complete the entire year of this biolabs session, you can use it as a credit for biolabs.
Yeah.
Because you might need those things. We've done financial peace in the past, and that's like a economics or could be a math credit, depending on how you do it. But we try to come alongside and teach things that can enhance your topics.
Yeah.
So most other groups are academic, and they meet mainly for core subjects. So they might have some electives. There's some co-ops I know of that you go and you have the different age groups, and you only get 2 options. You're either taking gym or you're taking English essay writing.
It might not be fair to talk to the masses about our co-op because they're never going to find one as great as ours. And they're going to be like, oh, what are these options I'm presented with?
Yes. Yeah, ours is real dud. No, I mean, I feel like over the last 15 years, we've built something that is hard to match.
Yeah.
But then I think we're a little biased.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For sure.
Because we're so deeply ingrained in it.
I mean, it really, really is a really good co-op, though. I mean, it really, like when you look at the community and, Laura mentioned we break for the summer. We don't actually break for the summer. We break for classes in the summer. But already there is a schedule written for park days where every Thursday we're meeting at another park. The park may be a pay park. It may be a free park. It may be, we tend to have our little favorites as a group. So we try to weave those in a little bit more through the summer. But we're trying to get these kids together, and the moms together. It's a beautiful thing because the kids are off playing in the creek fishing while all the moms are under the tree in their lawn chairs with their little lunches and their babies. I mean, it's just a beautiful thing.
It is. And it builds that community because they become close over those years. And those kids bond over the summer, and you can see when registration comes out, it's, okay, well, what classes is Gage taking?
Yeah.
I want to take the same class as Gage. And it's not near as awkward.
Yep.
It's not like you're starting something new because you've been together all summer. Another thing that is kind of unique to us is Mom's Nights.
Yep.
We try to have a monthly Mom's Night. Teen Nights, we try to do a monthly teen night.
And those continue through the summer too.
Yes, those do continue through the summer, and they're usually focused on a summer activity. It might be the beach. I have a very nice local beach, and they just love coming to the beach because it's got a high dive, and it's got basketball, and it's got a concession stand, and it's just a lot of fun. But that is something that we've morphed. When we started back in the early 2000s, there was no park days. There was no teen nights. There was no mom's nights. There was there was a yearbook that we did still have. I'm trying to think of the other things that we didn't have. Geography fair. We started that many years ago. Book sales, workshops. They did have a few workshops. They were usually included. We have end of the year party, Valentine's party, Christmas party. So there's just so much that goes on and can be built if you have the participation and the want to. You know, our parents do enjoy being together, and we learn off of each other. A recent mom's night we had was just learning all about homeopathic medicine and how it works. And we watched a documentary. We discussed the documentary. Sometimes we just go have really good food.
Yeah. A nice little spread.
Yeah. So Sagano's is always a great option.
Yeah, that too.
Hibachi. But I mean, we're obviously very excited about our program. But I do know there's some really good ones out there if you are trying to offload a subject or two and maybe it's just not your forte. You can sign up and you can be part of the academic group. A lot of times they have wait lists. I'm thinking we may end up having a wait list for our group. We have 2 independent co-ops, but they run as I don't know, how would you describe that?
Well, yeah, we have the same co-op runs on 2 different days. So if a Thursday works better for you or the Tuesday works better for you.
Yeah. Now, you always attended evening. Well, until the last couple of years when you helped me run Tuesday. But you always, how did we end up on Tuesday or Thursday nights? Do you remember?
Oh, I do remember. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah.
So, I don't know how deep we want to go into this, but we had a church host and
COVID. It all rang around COVID.
Yeah,
because go ahead.
Well, our church host was actually Laura, we have to go all the way back. So one of the churches that we were at was kind of like, well, we're not going to be able to host you they could still host us, but we weren't going to be like under the umbrella of their ministry anymore.
Correct.
So that kind of shook things up a little bit. So we ended up going to another church, and that church actually had a private school program. So because we were so used to just being like Thursday afternoons, we went into this church on a Thursday afternoon and we absorbed the private school kids for a couple hours and let them pick classes. And they were basically part of our co-op for a while.
Yes, because they were very small at the time and they didn't have a lot to offer. And so we went in and we were like, hey, we can offer you all these fun options and we only come in twice a month. And yet, you don't have to pay anybody. We'll actually pay you. And, so it just kind of morphed into, hey, let's help you out. And so that ran for a semester. Yeah. Was it only a semester? I think it was only a semester.
A semester and a half? A semester and
a quarter? Yeah. It was really crazy because then in March of 2020, the whole world shut down because of COVID. And they ended up blowing up because at that point, then public school was exposed. Public school was exposed because parents were now having to teach their public school students at home, and they were like, they aren't learning anything. So the whole world of private and homeschooling
and a lot of it happened where people didn't want to send their kids to school in the masks or whatever the restrictions were. They were like, I'm not participating in this.
Right.
We're going to see what other options are out there.
So the private school blew up as an enrollment.
Yeah.
And they just couldn't accommodate us during the day. So we said, hey, what do you think about at night? And they were like, sure, use the building. It's fine. So that's how we started our Thursday night program, which was highly unusual for a co-op to run at night.
Yeah.
Usually it ends up being a daytime, moms and kids. It's not a lot of dads. And then,
which I would like to say I loved as a procrastinator. And, I just had so much more time to prepare for my classes when it was in the evening.
Yes. And you could do all your running. Some people did school, a full day of school, then came to co-op. And it gave them a chance to catch up if they needed to. and it gave everybody time to run around and get their curriculum set for the night.
Yeah.
And then dads got to
Yes.
participate, and it became just a beautiful thing.
Yes.
We ended up with a lot more like boys to men classes where boys were learning life skills of, how to change a tire, how to change the oil, how to change a faucet, how to wire a electrical box. Things that maybe the moms could do if they had to, but they didn't really want to teach it. Didn't feel confident maybe.
Yeah.
And it just really became kind of our main group. I mean, we ran strong, and we're still running strong with Thursday nights. But about 3 years later.
But we did. We were running Tuesday afternoons before we left.
Right. And I'm trying to remember, I think we've been at Tuesdays for 4 years now. So we started that in 2022-ish.
Yeah.
And we just had a bunch of families that kept saying, hey, can you start a daytime one? We can't do Thursday nights. Can you start a daytime one? So we found one of the churches we're at now, and they were very accommodating to us and said, yeah, let's try it. And so that one has now grown quickly to rival the Thursday group.
Yeah.
And so we're at the point now where our Tuesday group is going to outgrow the building if we're not careful, so we might end up with a wait list. So don't be surprised if a group does have a wait list, because the buildings can only accommodate so many. Insurance coverage only covers so many. So you just need to be kind of mindful. But our group, in the academic group, somebody has to be a principal. Somebody has to hold the rules. I mean, I think every group has rules, but the bigger you get, the more it seems like the rules expand.
Yeah.
And, society happens and things change, and, you have to change your rules and reevaluate them every year.
Yeah.
But I feel like the academic groups are a little more school-like, a little more structured. There's more administrative work. Now, I feel like some weeks it can be a full-time job.
Oh, yeah.
It's especially registration weeks.
Yeah.
Then other days it's, I just have to do a few things. But it seems like even the ending of the year is a lot right now. We've had 4 field trips, trying to coordinate 4 field trips, T-shirt orders, yearbook orders, finish the yearbook, plan the end of the year party.
You have teen nights sprinkled in there.
Teen nights, yeah. We just had a road rally, and that was a lot of prep work, but a lot of fun. And so it's all worth it. It just is just busy. So, there is a lot of administrative tasks that happen.
And that's a lot of behind the scenes. Like if you're, just getting into homeschooling and you're looking at a co-op, you're not going to be bogged down with some of the administrative stuff.
Yeah, no, your group wouldn't be there without the administrative work, but so much of it happens during the day, during the week that you don't even see.
Yeah.
But academic groups tend to be a little more expensive because they tend to meet weekly throughout the school year because they're doing a core subject. So maybe they teach a couple lessons over the meeting time, and then you're sent home with, okay, so here's what you're going to do for this week.
Have you found that the academic co-ops are parent taught, or are they hiring out professionals?
I think there's a little bit of both.
Okay.
I know, like Connections, they pay their teachers to facilitate, but you don't have to have a teaching degree. You just have to be kind of an expert in that topic. But I know there's a couple other ones that they're parent led and maybe parent taught. But I don't find a lot of times that people want to teach things that they don't know. So I feel like the quality of the classes is usually pretty high. If somebody's going to, especially in an academic class, they're passionate about math or whatever they're teaching, so they're going to. And a lot of times it's amazing to me how many previous teachers are teachers at co-ops.
Oh yeah,
I mean we have so many teachers that are not teaching in the in the actual classroom, but they love to teach at co-ops. So they are valuable. But they've also seen all of the downturn of the school systems, private or public, and are they don't want any of that.
Yeah.
They want to homeschool their kids.
Yeah.
Okay. So any other of the structures you can think of? I mean, there's hybrids, but they're not really co-ops. There's pods. They're not really co-ops. There used to be so many more co-ops than there are now. And I think the partnerships have really diminished the co-ops. There used to be so many more that were just, 20, 30 families get together, maybe even 10 or 15. You can have a co-op in your house where, 4 of your closest friends get together and they do science and history together. That's a co-op.
My Father's World had all the curriculum, like if you bought the box curriculum, it came with a synergy. They called it like a synergy group. And it would basically be like find your local My Father's World people and get together, and you guys can combine subjects. And that would be, to me, considered a co-op. But they called it a synergy group.
Yeah, that's kind of a neat name.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
So how do you know if it's right for you?
Well, you need to look at whether you're an introvert or an extrovert.
And every extrovert finds their introvert and talks them into helping them. Right, Erin?
How do we know if it's right for us?
How did you decide co-op was right for your family? Because you are an introvert and you can take it or leave it, even though all the families miss you.
I miss everybody.
Well, then you should come. Next year, everybody, she's coming.
I don't know. I guess you really just have to say, you know what? Here's the thing. You try a co-op, and if it's not for you, it's not for you. And you'll have seasons too. We've had families come in and they're there for years and then they need to take a semester off. Drop off is not going to work. But it's just not right for them in the season, or it's not right for them at all and they don't come back.
Yeah. We usually have our fall semester's always bigger than our winter.
Yeah.
And I think it's because people take the summer off or they start homeschooling in a fall. They're not starting typically in a winter. They've done their research over the summer and they find that fall, they're pumped for fall. And then in the winter, we usually have a few new families join us. We have some that don't attend both semesters. They only attend fall, and then maybe they do skiing over the winter or they go to Florida for the winter. They're snowbirds because they work remotely. And so they just leave. So we do have some families that don't attend year round, but we always have a couple families that sign up and then just kind of peter out. And so I have some pieces of information that maybe will help you decide before you invest, because a lot of co-ops don't do refunds either, and you pay no matter what.
A lot of times you can't do refunds.
Right. The teachers have already bought supplies.
Yeah.
Maybe you started out strong and you attended 2 and, the teacher's supplies are all up front. So they bought everything and you can't get a refund.
Yeah.
Like there's just nothing to refund. You don't run with a huge budget.
Yeah.
And so some people just can't offer refunds. But if you don't show up, there's rules in like our co-op that if you don't show up for a couple of weeks, we can just withdraw you because but if you have a couple of weeks of vacation, it's all on that communication.
Yeah.
And that's what co-op, being part of it, is communicating to the people what your family plans are.
Yeah.
But a couple of things to consider before you do decide to hop in. Time commitment. Are you ready for a time commitment? Because it's 3 hours, probably closer to 5 or 6 by the time you drive there and you get ready and you prepare for your class and you teach your class and then you talk and hang out and the kids play on the playground and you corral them for 15 minutes because they're like, but I don't want to leave. And, just all of those things. But are you ready for that kind of time commitment? Because maybe you already have other electives or other things that you're involved in and it's taking up we had a couple families that were very involved in dance, and they had dance like 5 nights a week. And so it was hard for them to be consistent.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that your leadership is going to look for, because it's really hard when you join and you decide to go all in and then you flake out. So it's hard to find replacement teachers at the last minute. We make it work, but it's really hard when you've signed up for 8 classes to teach and you're only there for 4.
Yeah, you have to be ready for the commitment.
Yeah, definitely. Are you ready to be a team player? Like, if you are ready for the commitment, but you're not ready to teach 8 classes, maybe you can plan 4 and you can get one of the other moms to co-teach with you. And so then you plan 4 and she plans 4.
And I feel like even if you're you don't have a co-teacher and you're just not comfortable, you're not there yet, you step in another area, like help plan a teen night, help plan a field trip, help clean afterwards. Like, there are so many ways you can get your hands in it. You have to me, that's a really big part of the co-op.
Right. And our co-op, because you don't know if people are going to be, on the administrative side, I should say, you don't know if people are going to be committed and be willing to cut whatever it is so that they're committed to teaching their class. We don't allow you to teach for the first semester because we want you to come in. We want you to get connected with those families. We want you to feel that community and that friendship before you commit to teaching, because it just makes it easier on us if you are a flake, that we don't have to, cover you every week.
And you're learning the ropes.
Yeah, and it just gives you a chance to really just kind of settle in, and it's really a nice option. But come the second semester, we're like, hey, what do you want to teach? And if you're not comfortable teaching, most times I tell families, co-teach, work in the nursery. We always need a nursery teacher. We always need a preschool teacher. But there's not a lot of open administrative positions because everybody's like, well, can I work on my computer at home and do this? No, there's really not, because there's just not. It doesn't exist. So, be prepared to join a co-op and teach.
Yeah.
Because it does make life so much easier.
Yeah.
And like in our co-op, you do not have to submit a syllabus. You have to be 1 week ahead of where you are. You don't necessarily have. I know another co-op that you have to submit a syllabus before you're allowed to even offer the class. As far down as gym, you have to have a syllabus for gym. Seems a little excessive. Seems like you can kind of throw out a kickball. I guess it wouldn't take very long to do, but but if you're in some way, you need to kind of know the rules of the group. And if it's not the group for you, that's fine.
Yeah.
Then pay for the drop-off group or pay for the single classes, whatever.
Or find your group.
Yeah. Will you have enough time in your schedule to complete the bookwork? Now, our group doesn't have a lot of homework. I think maybe the financial peace class maybe did, but that was for credit. That was something that people were taking for a purpose, not just for fun.
Yeah.
And so there might have been, but it was up to mom and dad to correct it and make sure it was done. The teachers are not checking up.
Yeah.
But if you are in an academic co-op, you really need to make sure that you are willing to put the time in on the class.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing more frustrating than, a teacher going in and starting to ask questions about what they were learning, and it's crickets because nobody did the work.
Yeah. So what do you suggest for people who are like, I just don't have the time. I just don't want to commit to that kind of thing. I kind of just want to be hands off, but they want kind of a co-op feel.
I would say you definitely want to go to the programs that you can drop off and you do not have to teach. I wouldn't suggest a parent-run co-op of a traditional sense.
Yeah.
Ours kind of borders on being non-traditional because we do allow drop-off for certain instances. But I'm seeing sometimes where maybe we're starting to be used as a date night service, babysitting service. And so I'm going to have to everything has to be reevaluated every year.
Every semester, I feel like
Yeah.
we're always looking.
Yep. So it's just something that if you can't commit to being faithful, you're not a contributing member, it might not be the right fit. So what can you do instead? Well, there's field trip groups. There you can find a lot of them. There's library meetups.
Yep.
There's social clubs.
Yep.
There's homesteading groups. There's intensives. Maybe you go and you learn just woodworking, or you sign up for a blacksmithing class, or sewing and stuff like that. So I would do, if someone can't commit the time, I would say do the one-offs, where it's one class and you're done. You're not having that weekly commitment.
I see people on the internet who don't want to commit to the co-op lifestyle, and 'cause it kind of is a lifestyle. And they do that. They do the one class, or they do the little workshops. They find those little things to do.
Right. And those
are great.
Yeah, they're great. They get you out. They get you interacting, but maybe it's just not the community is not the fit for you. Do you count co-op as a school day?
Yeah. So I know that there's a lot of families. I love talking to the kids at co-op to see, they're doing school before co-op. It's a busy day for them.
Yeah.
They get in a full day of school and then they go to co-op. For us, our co-op was our school day.
It was for us too. We rarely did school on co-op days, unless there was just a little something we need to finish. But because of coordinating it, I had so much paperwork to do that it consumed the day, and my kids would be like, Mom, it's a co-op day, and we know it because your attitude is terrible.
And I was going to say, we didn't do it because I had procrastinated and still needed to get everything together for co-op.
And so it was just best if we didn't frustrate them with trying to do school and do co-op in the same day and trying to prep for both.
And frustrate ourselves.
Yeah. So we'd always counted co-op as a school day.
Yeah.
It will definitely add more stress to your week and be misery if you haven't scheduled it as a priority.
Yeah.
So don't add extra things onto your calendar that you just can't fulfill.
Yeah.
Co-op is a co-op. It is, everybody's relying on each other. And so it's like a chain. So one link of the chain comes loose and it has a domino effect. It really does. It just affects everything else. And so maybe the quality suffers of that class, or just covering it. It makes a huge difference when a family or 2 or 10 decide that they're not going to come to home team. Does it meet your family's needs? So what are you looking for? Are you looking for academic, or are you looking for community and enrichment? Because enrichment, in my mind, has a broad scope. They're quality, but they're not super deep. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we've had, we have a cryptocurrency class. Well, that dad is doing a great job with that class, but it's, scratching the surface.
Yeah.
It's not, regular meetups where there's, getting a play account and investing and, doing whatever. So sometimes the enrichment classes are just surface level, and they can build on it. Like your painting classes built on each other after a while, and then you'd circle back and do a basics again and build on them again. And so that was always helpful. But a lot of times they're just get your feet wet, see if you like it. And maybe if we get enough, interest on a survey, we'll offer the next class. But sometimes it's a one and done.
Yeah. And what I love about it is there are really so many options. You're exposing the kids to so many things. They can find a lifelong hobby.
Yes. Yes, Ashton loves to paint.
Yeah.
It's just because you inspired her so. So also you need to be mindful when you're looking for a co-op, what worldview they're coming from. Ours is a faith-based co-op. We are going to teach all of our classes from a faith-based point of view.
Yeah.
And so be careful that you're not joining an inclusive or secular group and then expect faith-based activities.
Or, what you hear, what I hear more online is the secular people, they can't find a secular group. They
Right.
are just only, they're stuck with us Christians.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. That was a huge eye-opener to me. I went to like an open house where you sat and you kind of promoted your group. I don't know, what would you call that? Just a fair, like a homeschool fair.
Yeah.
And so they asked us to have a table. So we had a table. My husband and I are sitting there and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go walk around and see what's out there. Maybe I don't know. And there was a Wiccan group.
Ooh.
And I was like, oh, like I didn't know it existed, but they're popping up and, more power to them, but it's just not my,
Not really.
it's not my worldview. So, but, don't join a secular or inclusive group and expect faith-based activities and vice versa, because you're not there to change that group that you're in. Like, this is not a hostile takeover kind of situation. You are there because you signed up and you want what they offer.
Yeah.
So if you don't join a group that you don't align with and then tries to cause a ruckus, and be aware that the group that you join is going to influence your child's worldview.
Yeah.
So if you are in a secular group and you are a Christian, that's going to contradict your teachings on a lot of things.
Yeah.
So you also don't sign up for groups that you can't sign a statement of faith or align with them. We have a statement of faith at our co-op, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do they have to sign it or just agree to it?
We have to sign ours.
Yes, we do. But you just not in a way that you have to agree with us and that you have to, just the fact that you know what we're going to be teaching. We're going to be from a biblical worldview.
Yeah.
And so you have to agree to the fact that, you don't have to necessarily believe that, but we're not going to contradict ourselves.
You understand what you're getting into.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. And we do a new family application. Mm-hmm. That started shortly after COVID as well. We felt it was time to kind of vet people, kind of feel people out before they just joined our group. Because so much of the secular world was being turned on to homeschooling. And so we started a new family application, and we have the, ability to turn them away or say, you're not going to be a great fit. We just are not, you're just not going to enjoy our group, and it kind of saves everybody in the long run.
Yeah.
But we definitely want to keep it faith-based. And so we do that.
COVID really turned a lot of things on its head.
Oh,
That
it sure
was kinda
did.
Crazy. Because I remember, I haven't looked at that in a while, but I remember coming up with that stuff. We were asking questions on there like, do you think that if there was another lockdown that we should divide our class sizes in half and that we should, implement masks and,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because we all had our opinions.
We really did.
And we were not willing to bend our group's view to include or exclude anybody.
Yeah.
So don't be surprised if a co-op sends you an application or they want to talk to you on the phone, or they're trying to find good fits because the space is limited and homeschooling is only growing. And so if you can't find what you're looking for, maybe you need to start it. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's some great books out there to,
I think we're going to do a whole episode on how to start a co-op.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Because there's so much more to talk about.
Oh, yes. Another thing to think about before joining a co-op is expense.
Yeah.
What do you think you paid per year?
Well, depending on what classes the kids took, because, some of them are cheap. And what's great about our co-op is when we sit down to do it, we always make sure there's a boy option, a girl option, a free option, very low cost option. So, and when we say low cost, it's like between $5 and $0.
Yeah.
So just a little like a little example of that, we have a great class called Army Base, which I think has run for like the last 20 years.
It's been a long time.
Yeah. And it's just a fun class, and the kids
They learn strategy.
Yeah.
They learn how to shoot a darn good rubber band.
Yeah. We should have Levi on one day as a guest so he can tell us.
Oh,
so if
man.
anybody wants to start a co-op, they can have an Army Base option. But basically, it's little green Army men. They get some styrofoam, like floral foam,
Yep. Popsicle sticks.
rubber bands.
And the little army men that you see on like Toy Story with the feet connected.
Yeah.
And they set up a little base and they shoot rubber bands at each other. Well, at each other's base, not at each other.
No, they throw
shoot them at each other, Laura. But anyway, so it's a very inexpensive option.
Yeah.
And so anybody can afford that. So your academic classes, they can be $500 a semester. Our enrichment co-op, I think I have one family who did drop off that reached $500 a semester.
Yeah.
So it's not a option, like especially if I participate. And that's another reason I don't encourage drop off is you can have a family of 4 kids and attend for the same cost as somebody dropping off 2 kids.
Yeah.
And it just becomes so much more of a family event. So you want to make sure that you can afford this with your family budget. So always ask for costs up front. Ours is a little hard to calculate because, like I said, it depends on all the classes that you can take. Obviously, if you're taking a cooking class, that's a lot of ingredients. Or maybe there's a woodworking class and you're actually building something that goes along. So every class, the teacher guesstimates as best they can. And sometimes they go over, sometimes they don't. But definitely make sure it falls within your family budget. As far as expense goes, do you need to offload a class or two because you don't know how to teach it? So maybe you need a co-op class. So make sure that fits in your family's budget for that year.
Yeah.
And what value is the co-op to your family? Is the social interaction and activities worth the cost to you and your family? So, maybe there's a membership option. If you can't attend classes, maybe there's a membership option where you can just pay to have the mom's nights, the teen nights, the field trips, that kind of thing. But, a lot of times that's not even an option because they want the community, and that builds community.
Yeah.
So on to community.
Yeah. Well, I love our community. It's really friendly. I mean, you really make lifelong friends. My kids have made lifelong friends, It's really important to some people.
But sometimes you can go in and you feel like you don't connect because there's a clique. And I do think cliques are pretty natural because certain people are going to vibe with certain people. But if you go in and, you can't break through, either you're shy and you're coming off as kind of aloof in our group, but people are going to seek you out to talk to you.
Yeah.
They're going to want to know your name. They're teaching your kids. They're going to want to know your teacher, your kids and how you guys interact. And I know Ashton's been helping this year, and my mom's asked her some of the craziest questions. Like, are you guys like always together?
Wait, so who asks those questions?
Just
The other moms?
The moms, like she'll
Yeah.
be helping in the class and they'll be like, so tell me about your family dynamic, or tell me about this, or tell me about that. And so they're not afraid to,
No.
interact and get kind of to know you.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
more than just a surface, hey, I know your name.
Yeah.
You're, like I said, you're always going to have parents that mesh with other parents, and they're going to become that little group, and you're going to have this little group over here.
Do you think we have cliques though at ours? I know that there's cliques everywhere, and that's another huge thing that you see on Facebook is that a lot of the co-ops are too cliquey.
Yeah.
And I know it's wrong to compare our co-op to all these other ones, but I really, in my deepest, I could be wrong, but I don't see a lot of cliques.
Well, it's interesting because on an average home team night, you'll see certain parents kind of pairing off, and their kids are friends. And so maybe there's this group of 4 or 5 families that hang out all the time together. But I feel like if there's a new parent they spread out and they include that parent. Yeah. It's not like they're over here in the corner and you're not outside of that. But a lot of times, if your kids aren't the same ages or you're a drop-off family, you don't get that connection.
Yeah.
So you might say, okay, well, I work mostly with the kindergarten through second graders, so I know all the moms that have those age groups because that's where my kids are at. But a lot of the teenage moms, I mean, they want to attend the teen nights as much as the kids do because they want to talk to all the other moms.
Yeah.
So I feel like we have a really good non-cliquey, but I still feel like you do have those little groups that hang out together anyway.
Yeah.
You know. But another reason that when I was researching this, because I'm so pro homeschooling and pro co-op, it never occurred to me why would you not want to do a co-op? So I actually had to research it because it's just my identity. I mean, it's just part of who I am. And it's been so long now.
Yeah.
So, I can't even give it up. It's just there, you know.
I know some reasons why someone might not want to join a co-op.
Okay, tell me.
So in my head, I call it like a grounding. Co-op is very grounding. And when I say that, I mean, sometimes you might feel stuck. You can't go on the vacation because something falls on a co-op week, or you can't, there are certain things you can't do because of the commitment of co-op.
Okay. One of the things I saw when I was reading articles and trying to figure out why people don't love co-op is because it's homeschooling and it isn't at home. So some people don't enjoy it because it's not in the home, and their goal of homeschooling is to be home.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. So I know there are a few families that I could probably pinpoint in all my years of like, okay, that probably fits their dynamic, you know, if they really take it seriously and it's at home.
I still don't understand it. That doesn't make any sense to me.
And you're an introvert and you love being home, but, you know, so I don't know. But another reason was age segregated classes. They felt like that was too much like school, and that, but from an administrative side of it, how do you not?
Yeah, how do you play dodgeball a senior in high school and a kindergartner?
Right.
I mean, it can be done, and the seniors should know better.
Right.
But again, what's awesome about our co-op is we're grouped in three groups.
Yeah.
So we have like kindergarten, second, third, you know, whatever, and then your high school group. But if there is a class that you see, like you're a little bit older, but you want to take maybe a class that's for the younger kids, it's okay to go down.
Yeah.
You know,
or maybe you have a learning disability, or you need review on phonics, and you know you're struggling to read. You can go down a class, but we don't allow kids to go up a level because you don't want a fourth grader in with the high school gym class. It's just not a good match. So, as far as age segregated, I would say we do have that to some degree, but a lot of times it's a block of grades together. Yeah. And so they're still teaching a wider dynamic than just kindergartners. And, you know, we let our teachers decide what classes the class is appropriate for. So if they don't feel like it's appropriate, then it's...
Some of the teachers will even teach the same class 3 hours for 3 different groups.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's So some groups don't accommodate young kids. So maybe they have an older kid and their co-op doesn't have a preschool or a nursery because, you know, homeschool families usually have a broad range of children. Mm-hmm. And so maybe they have a high schooler and a baby. It happens all the time. So that's one thing about our group is we allow you to join before. If your intention is to homeschool, we want you to join in preschool because we want you to build your community early because they're going to help guide you, and you're going to be able to find those free resources, and it's going to save you money, and it's going to, you know, you're going to find those lifelong friends early on. But there's a lot of groups out there that if there's not an older sibling enrolled, you can't enroll in preschool or nursery. So definitely check that out. And then another reason was discipline and bullying issues.
Yeah. One of the reasons a lot of us pull the kids out of school is maybe your child was bullied in public school. So they go to co-op and their child is still getting bullied. That could be an issue.
Mm-hmm. I know in our group, we don't have a ton of those sort of issues. But you always have to be, on the administrative side, you always have to be mindful of that. And so there's been a few times that I've had to kind of step in, and a lot of times we have a specific order of how we handle discipline or bully issues or anything like that. And so we've had to enact it a few times, but I wouldn't say overall we have a dynamic of a lot of issues like that. More of, hey, he's not listening to me, like the adult, the kid's not listening, or he's out of control and he needs to go sit for a few minutes or whatever. But we don't have the inter same age bullying type stuff. That just doesn't happen. Then the last reason, which kind of blew me away, is because I feel like we have really good parent teachers. And so one of the reasons they didn't want that is because parents wouldn't know how to teach their child. So maybe their child is neurodivergent or ADHD. The parent teaching two little girls every day might not be able to know how to teach that wild boy or that autistic child. One thing that we've done in our co-op is we have several neurodivergent kids, several ADHD kids. And one thing that some of the parents have done is, because we are in the evening, dad comes along and he goes to classes with the neurodivergent one, so that if he can read that child's, body language and stuff, and if he starts to struggle, dad removes him.
Yeah.
And so it's beautiful seeing them there and seeing them interact with their parents and how they're making it work, but yet still getting that child out and into the public and into the world where they can make those friends.
Yeah.
And so it's just a really nice option.
Yeah. Like you said, it's beautiful. It's beautiful to see everybody come together in the idea of, this is important for our family, this is important for our future and our children, to come alongside them and create a community for them.
Yes. Yeah.
I just love it.
I do too.
Yeah.
And I would say the pros far outweigh the cons.
Yeah.
At least for my family. And I mean, we're second generation attending now. I mean, well, not attending, but like my kids all now teach because they love it. And it's become such a ministry for our family. And it's just, well, I have my sons-in-laws teaching, and they're already, well, what am I going to teach next fall?
Yeah.
And so I just love to see the wheels turning and the creativity when it comes to planning. And it really is a ministry that I feel is valuable in our lives.
Yeah.
So
they see the importance of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they all plan to homeschool from what right now, I won't hold them to that, but right now they all plan to homeschool, and when they have children, it's going to be even more exciting to see that. We do have some second generation moms though now that are now homeschooling their kids that attended home team, and it's our 25th year. So, I mean, we're making that circular, hey, we're still here, come join us. And that's really been cool to see that grow and them return. So, obviously it's a decision you need to make for your family, and there's really no wrong answer. Mm-hmm. I would highly encourage you to try it. But
is there like a website to go to look for co-ops? Like if someone who's out in like Oklahoma, can they?
I think the HSLDA has a group listing. I know in Michigan that Mission has it's MICHN. It's Michigan Christian Homeschool Network, I believe. And they have a list. There's Facebook pages coming out your ears. So, I mean, if you're in Oakland County, look up Oakland County homeschoolers. Or our group, if you're interested in our group, is faithhometeam.com. So you can check us out. But we are in Michigan. We serve Oakland County. We have some that are coming from Genesee, Shiawassee, maybe. I'm trying to remember the surrounding counties. We have some that come from Macomb.
Yeah, I feel like maybe Wayne, a couple from Wayne in the past.
Yeah, we got some that are coming from like Troy. So I'm not really sure. I think that's still Oakland. But I mean, we're about an hour out, some people, because we're only twice a month, that they're like, yeah, it's worth the drive a couple times a month. So feel free to reach out to us at faithhometeam.com if you're looking for something in our area. But otherwise, check the local Facebook groups, check the HSLDA, and they'll be able to help you find something in your area. And I see it all the time. Hey, is there a group out this way? Or, so usually if there is one, people are going to pipe in and help you out.
Yeah.
The community, even outside of a co-op, is very strong, and they want you to get plugged in, and they want you to succeed. So people are willing to help. So don't be afraid to hop on there and ask questions on any of the
homeschooling
forums.
is not a gatekeeping. It's just people are ready and willing to share as much as they can.
Yes. And they share free resources, and they share curriculum and all kinds of crazy stuff. But if you have any questions, feel free to email us at beyondthelessonplans2@gmail.com. We also have a Facebook page and an Instagram called Beyond the Lesson Plans. Comment on the podcast. We're on all of the different forums.
Platforms.
Yeah, we're on YouTube now, not Yahoo. Gosh. Apple, Amazon, Spotify, iHeartRadio.
Yeah.
So engage, like, subscribe. We'd love it. We hope to hear from you soon.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.